Are you a music enthusiast? You probably are. And you'll probably be using music streaming services for some time now. And just as we were, I think we probably started streaming music from YouTube. YouTube, not just music streaming, but YouTube, we have visuals, lyrics, and stuff like that. But after that, the landscape, it got changed. The technology got advanced, and we were introduced to a lot of music streaming services. And when I mention the name music streaming services, apart from YouTube, you probably get an idea about Spotify, right? And I think most of us right now we use Spotify. We might have used Spotify, or we heard the name Spotify because of its the free music streaming services that provide us to us. Because we have Apple Music, Amazon Music, and YouTube Music. All those music streaming services, they have been providing their services for a price, but not Spotify. And in one of our episode, I think episode 56, we actually talked about and gave like a comparison about Apple Music versus Spotify, and in there we decided like what are the qualities and features come from these two music streaming services. And likewise, we did the comparison. I think you should go have look at in episode 56. And right now, I think it was recorded back in 2023, and right now we are in 2024. So today we thought about talking about something which is very similar to a lot of products happening in the market right now, but this is specifically about Spotify. Because when we were doing our initial research, we realized that Spotify, even though Spotify had like a lot of users using Spotify, the revenue and the money that they are making is kind of getting low. So I think that's why we thought about just talking about this episode, that Spotify is kind of dying, whether it is one of the prominent music streaming services in the industry. So today we'll have a talk about what is the reason behind the reason behind Spotify is dying, their revenue, and what sort of effects they have, and regarding when it comes to the other streaming platforms as well. So I'm your host, Kanishka.
Hi, I'm Udara.
So let's get started today. Our episode 82, right, Macha?
Yes. First of all, I born to this episode also.
I bought.
Okay, Spotify. Today we are not going to talk about Spotify or how it is working. We already did that back in episode 56. You guys should check that episode also. Today we are going to discuss about a thing that happening to most of the companies in the tech industry, and specifically for the Spotify. The problem is Spotify might be dying sooner than later. I think it's better really close, because in this episode we're going to discuss about what went wrong on Spotify. It's so popular among a lot of people, but today we're going to discuss how the death of Spotify will be happening. Okay, before starting all the things, we'll get quick catch up with what is Spotify. Spotify is a music streaming service.
Yeah.
Right, Macha? Traditionally, we used to download MP3 songs, or mostly to pirate those things. When YouTube showed up, then there were music videos. We used to download the music videos and convert those to MP3 and put it on our devices, and used to listen to those songs. Then Apple came up with the iTunes plan. Basically, they allow us to buy certain songs for $1, or for certain songs it was $2. We had to pay $1 per song from iTunes. A lot of people adapted that. A lot of people started to use that. We didn't. So we were kids, and $1 is too much for one song. So a person from Sweden named Daniel Ek. I don't know how it is pronounced. I think it's pronounced Daniel Ek. They're pronouncing like that their names. Came up with an idea. He's a fellow software engineer. He came up with the idea. In Sweden, there was a issue that Sweden people used to pirate all the things using Pirate Bay. Then record labels started to legalize those songs and everything, and categorize the people download from torrents as criminals. So their freedom got really wasted. Then this guy came up with an idea for a music streaming service. This is his original idea. His business model was you pay a certain amount for unlimited music streams. You can't download and keep the song on your every device, but instead Spotify took care of storaging of those songs. They make sure to available those songs for their users on demand. Basically, you pay like $3. As I remember, they started with $3 per month for Spotify. Then there were like catalog of, I think initially they had 4 million songs. So you can just stream any song on demand. With later update, they also made available the feature for download those songs to listen offline, but users had to use their own app, similar to the everything happening with current state of the streaming services. Apple Music also currently does that. YouTube Music and even YouTube Premium does that. Every other one started to catch up with those things. Spotify got really popular, really popular back in 2000s, late 2000s, early 2000s. After many years, they were like no competitor for them too. So Spotify was like thriving in their peak at that time. But the issue was Daniel and everyone believed in freedom, so they don't really focused on monetizing this platform basically. So with the higher demand, with the higher usage, they have to make sure to find a way to monetize these platforms. We'll discuss that later in this episode. Before that, if you want to know about the backstory and the origin of the Spotify, there's amazing documentary based TV series on Netflix called The Playlist. So mini TV series, like as I remember, there was like 6 or 5 episodes. It tells the whole story of how Spotify started, what is the idea behind it, how they came up with their software and everything. If you watch that series, you will get an idea that none of these guys are really music fans. They are really deep dive software engineers. They wanted to create a music player that can play unlimited songs as you search for any of the song, and users will have to pay a small amount just to use that, just to keep the servers running. Then later streaming business got really big. Check our stats on 2023. I have the numbers for the Spotify. Actually, I have the user-based numbers at January of 2024. Spotify has monthly active users of 602 million. 602 million monthly active users, but still they are not a profitable company. Like imagine that you are having more than 500 million users, active users, but you can't make a profit out of it. So this business model have certain downfalls. So we should discuss about it. We will discuss about it. In Spotify, basically in their platforms, they are offering free tier, which means anyone can create a Spotify account and start to listen. There are some drawbacks to those free accounts. You can't do exactly on demand because there are certain playlists that you can't get access to. You can't access the feature of offline listening, And even recently, they put their lyrics feature for every song. They are making sure that there are lyrics available. It is also now on premium versions only. They remove that from free version. And also there is a premium version. Premium version means you have to pay a certain amount per month to get unlimited listen. You get customized playlist and everything, full potential of the Spotify, even podcast and everything. Out of those 602 million users, Spotify is having 236 million paid users. 236 million paid users in 2024, but still they are not profiting. Imagine those numbers actually. No, yeah, the meaning of behind they're not profiting, they're actually getting revenue, but their operational cost is really high that they can't make any profit out of this business model. I'll explain with the numbers. Okay, let's start with revenue for the 2023 year. Okay, they're having 13.2 billion in revenue for the year 2023. For 2022 they are having 11.7 billion. I'll put this chart in the video episode of our podcast. They are constantly having higher revenue, but still they have really high operational cost. For the last year, they are having 13.2 billion in revenue, but 532 million in net loss. They are having a net loss because of the operational expenses and everything. Also, I have the detailed income statement for the Spotify in 2023. They had these numbers are in millions of euros. So revenue, they are having 13,247 million euros in revenue, but cost of revenue was 9,850 million. Imagine that they are having like really small amount as their profit. The operation cost, also these operation cost having the music catalog expenses, even marketing, legal team expenses. What else? Let's say design, they have to do staff management and everything. The major loss for them is their music catalog. Music is the base of the Spotify, but their major problem also music catalog. Yeah. Okay, I'll explain this. Spotify is, if you're an artist, if you put your songs into Spotify, Spotify will pay 0.003 to $0.005 per stream. For every single time you listen to a song, Spotify will pay this amount to the artist, right? In this business, Spotify has to pay to their music catalog and also has to pay for the artist for the stream. Basically, those payments for the artists are going to the music labels, music catalogs. I'll explain the scenario with music catalogs later. This is the problem with Spotify. They are started in 2008. Now it is 2024. Still, they haven't found a way to make profit out of their business. But they are basically what they're doing is they are sustaining. Sustaining is not good. This is not a charity. They have to put up with some ideas to earn and make a real profit to do further investments implement further new features for their platform, because those new features are really expensive. That's the issue with Spotify. Okay, as I explained, the major problem was music catalog, basically with music labels. Okay, I'll explain what behavior, nature of music labels. In world, there are 3 major record labels. Okay, Macha? Sony Music, Warner Music, and Universal Music Group. Those 3 music groups are managing all the music, international artists' music in the world, entire world. I'm not sure about Sri Lankan artists. I think there are certain Sri Lankan artists managed by those music labels, like Yohani, Chamat Sangeet. I saw him also. Certain people are managing by those music labels, but those 3 are having a team monopoly, I think. I don't know the exact word for this. Sony Music, Warner Music, and Universal Music having a monopoly. Spotify had to make a deal with those record labels to show their catalog in Spotify platform and Spotify have to promise a certain amount to pay for them. Like per stream, they are currently paying 0.003 to $0.005. Imagine you are Universal Music. You are wanting more money, so you are requesting Spotify to pay more for your music catalog. As I know, Universal Music has like 4 million music catalog, 4 million songs they're having. Spotify said that, no, we can't pay that much money for you. We are in a sustained business model. We are not even profiting. How can we pay for, you this much of amount? We can't do that. Then Universal decide, okay, then we are not gonna give you our music catalog. They're gonna pull out from the Spotify. If Universal Music is pulling out from Spotify, Spotify will lose Taylor Swift, Drake, what else? Weekend, Adele. Major artists are signed to Universal Music. Imagine Spotify without those artists. I don't know about Sri Lanka, but in the international world, other countries internationally, those are the huge numbers, huge artists that do huge numbers in streams and everything. So if your platform doesn't have those songs from those artists, as end users, we're not gonna use Spotify. We might gonna migrate to Apple Music, YouTube Music, or anything else. This is the major problem Spotify have facing currently. The second problem they are having, if as I explained in the previous example, if Universal is requesting more money, then Spotify has the option to increase their monthly subscription fee. Currently, there are $11 per month monthly subscription in other countries other than Sri Lanka for Apple Music, Spotify, and Amazon Music and everything. They're having same price category. This is the competition. There are a lot of streaming services available now with the same price. If I'm the user, I get a chance to choose a one based on the features or the songs they are making sure to available for us. In this case, if Universal is requesting more money, Spotify has the chance to increase their money, increase their subscription fee. What will the users do? Users will not gonna keep around and pay more money for the same catalog that you can listen in another streaming service, right? That's basically, users are not caring about the company, users are caring about the service they are getting. So that is also off the table for the Spotify. The third solution they are having, expanding their business model other than musics. Okay. Last year, Daniel Ek also announced that they wanted to be the world's largest audio company, which means they are exploring new ways to implement audio related things. Currently, podcasts are really getting huge traction. Also, audiobooks are also getting really huge traction. The thing is, Spotify started to do exclusive podcast. They even hired Joe Rogan, Kim Kardashian, Barack Obama, and they did some exclusive podcast with Spotify. As I remember, Joe Rogan was the highest paid podcaster in the world, and he had he single-handedly controlled the entire Spotify podcast users base. Like more than 62%, I think, only subscribe to Spotify to listen to Joe Rogan, because Spotify's podcast platform is only available for the paid version. Then last year, Joe Rogan wanted more money since he was having 2-year contract, and after his contract expiration, he wanted more money. Then Spotify wasn't able to afford those money. And still Joe Rogan made a deal with Spotify to make sure that his podcast is available to everywhere, like Apple Podcast, YouTube Podcast, and everywhere. Now, still Joe Rogan is on Spotify, but he is also on everywhere. So Spotify wasn't able to keep their original creators there in their platform also because of this sustained business model rather than getting revenue. As of now, as of today, as we do this episode, Spotify is currently exploring and testing ways to gain more user attention. They have launched audiobook platform. I think they will incorporate lossless audio also. This is the story of Spotify. This is the business model of Spotify, and this is the current economical state of Spotify. If you can understand, these same problems are also having for other streaming services also. Other streaming services has to pay these music royalties also, right? They also have the pressure to offer new features for the users because this is a competitive market. But the thing is, let's talk about the competition. Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, and what else? There are many streaming services, Deezer, Tidal, or let's say the major ones. Okay, I have also found market share chart. Spotify is having the entire market, 30.5% of the users are on Spotify. 13.2 is the second place on Apple Music. Tencent Music also having 13.4. Tencent Music means the music streaming of service of, I think, the parent company of TikTok. TikTok became a huge platform for music enthusiasts, right? And there are Amazon Music, YouTube Music, and others. Others are included, Tidal, Amazon Music, and everything. The thing is, except for the Spotify, every other streaming service have a parent company that are vastly and hugely profiting. Streaming service, imagine if you're an influencer, if you're having a lot of followers, then the opportunity to monetize your platform is really high, right? Let's take, for example, Apple. They are not having the hugest amount of the most majority of the music streaming users, customers, but they are offering some features like, for example, lossless audio and even spatial audio also. Spatial audio, which means the audio that will, if you put on a headset, you will get left sound, left stereo, right stereo, and everything. What Apple Music is doing, Apple Music is putting and getting exclusive songs and albums from artists, and even adding huge features like lossless audio and even spatial audio without increasing their price. Their business model is they just want new users. They don't want profit. They just want new users. Imagine a situation that a new user came to Apple Music to listen spatial audio. You can't use regular headphones to experience that feature. You have to buy specifically AirPods or AirPods Pro or Max. Imagine that they are just monetizing their user base with their hardware products. So the parent company is profiting. They don't care that Apple Music is losing money, because end of the day, those users are already paying at least $1 for Apple. It's a sustaining business model. Apple just need to do and give lot of features to users, so users will switch to Apple Music, and they know the way to monetize this. Same goes with Amazon Music also. If you are an Amazon Prime user, you will get Amazon Music. So Amazon Prime include lot of things, and majorly Amazon Prime. So not Amazon Prime, what is that? Amazon delivery thing, right?
Yeah, right. Prime delivery.
For YouTube, if you are buying YouTube Premium, you will get YouTube Music for free. So YouTube is already a really profiting company, self-sustaining company. YouTube Music is just a part of it. But Spotify has to find a way to earn more money to cover up the losses where they are having with their streaming platform. I'm not saying everything is bad with Spotify. In my experience, Spotify is having the exceptional quality in their applications. The web application is really quick, but Windows application, same goes with iOS and everything. Their recommendation algorithms are exceptional. But end of the day, users, they are having huge users, but huge number of users, but they are not making any profit of this business model. The real problem was they are not having any parent company or finding a way to make money to sustain their company. So this is the problem with Spotify. What else can as we planned, we found that those problems are really in Spotify's tail for a lot of years now. Currently, Spotify exploring more ways that they can earn money. They are in the phase of testing an ad platform, because in as I explained as I share you the user numbers, they are having monthly users of 602 million, but from out of that 602 million, only 236 million users are paying for Spotify. So Spotify is currently exploring ways that they can create an ad network. For ad networks with large ad network holders like Facebook and Google, you should find a way to make sure that your ads are getting to specific and most required persons only. Like, you have to prepare a platform to make sure to target ads, create target ads. So Spotify is currently testing with their listening data to specifically target their users. Still in development, we don't know whether it will get released or anything. Other than that, they are not having any plan to compete or recovering from getting bankrupt, I think. Spotify is currently thriving in user base, but they're not actually profiting. So I don't think Spotify will gonna last for no more than 2 years, in my opinion, because they are not having a way to make those platforms are profitable. There were certain political issues with the Spotify also, with Joe Rogan being the main steerer for the podcasting platform. If you know, Kanchki for surely know, Joe Rogan is a really controversial person. He do some controversial things in his podcast that made some artists to remove their catalog from Spotify. For Kendrick Lamar, Taylor Swift also, they threatened Spotify to pull their catalog off from those from Spotify due to those controversial things of Joe Rogan. But they haven't done anything about Joe Rogan because he's moving a really good amount of traffic to Spotify with their podcast. They would rather keep Joe Rogan than losing Taylor Swift or Kendrick Lamar. But the thing is, Kendrick Lamar and Taylor Swift having huge fan bases. Apple Music is really taking advantage of this. As I know, the latest album of Taylor Swift also exclusively released on Apple Music. They have made sure to get the opportunity and get the things on. Yeah, this is the major things we wanted to talk. What else, Machan? What else?
I think there are like a lot of people who are really used to using Spotify, the interfaces, the experience, and everything else. I think sooner than later they will lose that type of experience as soon as Spotify, they have to stop their services, because right now the way they are heading towards, and they might not be able to pay the royalties for those record labels, and Spotify might get acquired by another company. Well, might be Apple Music, might be something like that.
I had the same idea. I thought about a huge company that doesn't have a music streaming service. Google can do it, or even Microsoft can do it.
Microsoft, I think they tried to acquire Spotify. I remember, like, they tried to do that, but they went able to acquire.
Yeah. They after that they make sure to create a partnership with Windows. I think in Windows 11, Spotify is pre-installed, right? They did some certain deals with major organizations, but I think it's better to be acquired by a huge company. Yeah, like I don't think with record labels there are no. I don't see any opportunity to be self-sustained in music industry, because you can't just start a record label if you are getting a traction. Sony or Universal or Warner Music will acquire you. They know to pay a huge chunk of money to keep their monopoly on, because that's their business model. And as an artist, if you're an artist, Universal will pay a huge amount of money to do. They will fund you. They will make sure to fund your music videos, even your record sessions. They will make sure to keep your family in check and everything. So artists are tend to go with record labels. This is the story of Spotify. In that TV series, Machang, there are certain scenario that Daniel Lake wanted, like latency of 0.25 millisecond. I think he wants Spotify to be really quick, because he's in heart is a software engineer. He knows that this is latency, this is not, but end user doesn't notice these things. As I told Machang, with Spotify, the my experience with Spotify is that it's really good. The applications are really good, really responsive. But the thing is, at the time I'm comparing Spotify with Apple Music, because that's the other service I was using. Now in 2024, Apple Music having an excellent Windows 11 native app. They are catching up. The web play is good. As Kanishka explained, they just can't keep the lead in the application quality. They have to do something to keep their users or offer something new. For the Apple Music's lossless feature, I think it's released now for more than 3 years. I think Spotify has announced that they are having a high fidelity audio, hi-fi audio feature. At the same time, Apple Music released the feature. Apple Music is releasing the feature for no added cost, but Spotify is announcing that they will include that feature. It's 2024, still they are not putting that high resolution or what lossless or high res or whatever you call that feature. I saw certain leaks regarding Spotify that they will for sure within next few months announce their hi-fi audio feature. They branded it as Spotify Hi-Fi. Now they are rebranding it to Spotify Lossless, because Apple Music is already got users' head. They are no longer, the technical term is hi-fi, high quality, but Apple rebranded it to lossless. Now users are seeking lossless features, seeking lossless audio. So Spotify had to rebrand their service to lossless. And the thing is, Macha, putting songs in lossless require really huge hardware capabilities, even to host those songs. So Apple can bear those costs, but Spotify had to implement new hardware facilities and everything. Because of that, Spotify lossless will be another paid tier. They will not available for the same price. So users will not for sure get into the platform. Yeah, that's the thing. Spotify is having a really good backstory, but in this world, in this e-commerce platforms, you can't sustain with a actually really good heart. Actually, you have to adapt to the market, adapt to the users, listen to users, and everything. Yes. What else? Did we miss anything, Macha? No, right? Okay, we'll put episode links and everything in the description. Also, make sure to subscribe our YouTube channel. It's Aprender Podcast on YouTube. And not so long ago, we started to clip our highlighted parts and put those in Aprender Podcast Clips channel. You guys should check that channel also. We'll put the description links to those channels in the description. Still, we are not gonna change to a video podcast. Still, we will upload our audio podcast prior to the video podcast. If you are Apple Podcast fan or Google Podcast, or Google Podcast is not longer available, it's YouTube Podcast. We'll make sure to put the audio episode out before the video episode. Yeah, you should check those out. The links will be on the description. Hope to see you guys in the next week with a new episode. If you want us to talk about certain things that you are interested, please comment in the comment section. LinkedIn, YouTube, X, or anywhere. We're also putting our video episodes in X also. So yes, that's it for this week, right, Maja? Have a safe week. ජය වේවා.